time for another edition of Wake Up the Echoes presented by TireRack.com. I'm your host, Tony Simeone. Glad to have you with us for our second episode of the season. Obviously, that was a tough loss on Saturday night. No way around it. But one of the things that I love about Wake Up the Echoes and this platform is we get a chance to really dive in to some of these student athletes. And today our guest was Billy Schrauth. And what better guy to have on the couch this week than him? I mean, he is just such a great guy to listen to. He's a leader and captain on this team. We learned a ton about his backstory, and then he and Coach Freeman also really, I think, put it well for how they're going to move forward. So that's what we're doing on this show, and we're going to break it down with Billy Schrauth. Also, of course, later, as we always do, Isaiah Dunn came by for, I think, one of the best stories I've ever heard. We learned a lot about what these guys do when they're away from football, in the classroom. Really good story. I hope you stick around for that because it was really entertaining and great to hear from him. So all three guys, Coach Freeman, Isaiah Dunn, and Billy Schrauth, thanks to them for showing up. Were some great conversations that we had today on Wake Up the Echoes. Before we get to the episode, I want to remind you that tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack, whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you need. Tire Rack makes it easy. TireRack.com is the way tire buying should be. All right, without further ado, let's get to our guest this week, Billy Schrauth, with head coach Marcus Freeman. Okay, Coach, great to see you. Billy Schrauth, welcome to Wake Up the Echoes. Great to have you on the couch.
Good to see you. Happy to be here.
Okay, I want to start with big families because I'm an only child, and I know that you're the youngest of 5. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, Coach Freeman's got 6 kids. So let's start with you, Billy. Help me understand what it's like being the youngest out of a group of 5, because as an only child, I never have any perspective on this. What was your upbringing like?
Well, hold on, is it older brothers and sisters?
I've got all older brothers, all older sisters. Yeah, I'm the baby.
I know, but how many?
What's the breakdown?
Yeah.
Is what he's asking.
It's my oldest is a brother, and then the second oldest is a sister, and then third oldest sister, and then
2 and 2.
You're the
Yep.
tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
So
then,
3 boys, 2 girls,
Okay.
but you're the
Yeah.
Because
youngest.
that means something.
I am.
Okay.
Right? That means something.
I want to get a follow-up on what that means, but
Definitely.
explain what it's like being the youngest in that crew.
Yeah, I mean, grew up competing. You know, I feel like from a young age, it was always sports. We had a backyard. It was probably 2 acres, and it was shaped just like a baseball diamond. So we were always out playing baseball since before I can remember. I was outside playing baseball, and that was my first love. And I think being the youngest, you know, you learn a lot from your older siblings. You know, they make a lot of mistakes that I didn't have to make. And don't get me wrong, I was still on the tough side of a couple situations growing up, but you know, I had a lot of good people around me in my community too. You know, growing up, I was always, if I ever needed a ride to a game, somebody was always there. So you know, it's more than just a family; it's a community. Especially where I'm from, you know, small town America.
Mm-hmm. I see you nodding along, Coach. So youngest in your house, just what's the dynamic like, and how does it all break down from your vantage point?
Well, I think as a parent, you're softest on the youngest. Now he thinks his parents were hard on him.
Okay.
But usually, as the more kids you have, the softer you get.
You're saying you learned from early on with the oldest, and then now with the youngest, you're softer on them.
Yeah, like our oldest Vinny. It was his life was his parents are on him, you know. Now the baby boy Rocco, the 6-year-old, he can do. He's the baby forever, you know. And
Okay.
So that's always interesting. That's what I wanted to know. Like, first of all, was it brothers and sisters, or all sisters, or all brothers? Because that's gonna kind of tell me a lot about how he was raised. But he's got 2 and 2, so he's got a good example of both.
What was the so you said 2 acres and there's a baseball diamond, like was it actually like dirt and bases, or what does it look like, the baseball diamond you had?
So it was just a grass diamond. You know, there's no sand or anything, but we'd throw out spots and markers for first base and the pitcher's mound.
Okay.
And there was a fence because it was in the fall when the corn would get up high. You know, that's when you knew you took one out of the park.
It's like Field of Dreams stuff,
yeah,
right
it's
here.
awesome. It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness! And this is in Campbellsport.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all.
So you're Wisconsin through and through. You're a Brewers fan then growing up, or how's
Yep,
that work?
Brewers
Prince
fan.
Fielder? Is that, can I speak
Of course,
your language?
yeah.
Okay.
There
Okay.
you go.
Ricky Weeks, all those guys.
Oh.
Used to love going to Brewers games. Patriots fan though. I always was a Patriots fan. Tom Brady. My brothers, they had a big impact on me too. They were always cheering for the Patriots. So, not Packers, big Patriots fan, love the Patriots, and kind of when the Bucks kind of started picking up over the last couple of years, won the championship a couple of years ago.
You followed Brady there, huh?
Oh, yeah, I followed.
So you're a Brady guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And greatest of all time, in your opinion?
Nope.
Not
Yeah.
even close? No
Not
one's in
even
the
close.
conversation?
He's the best.
Okay. Do you think Mahomes can catch him? Because I think it's a good question for Isaiah when he gets there, because I'm pretty sure Isaiah's passionate that Mahomes is going to catch him. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's a race I wouldn't want to be in. Tom's the GOAT. He had the right guy. There was a ton of right guys in that building over those 20 years, and even followed him to Tampa Bay. Success follows that guy, and he's the greatest.
I want to talk about Coach Rudolph. Obviously, your offensive line coach recruited you early on, and of course, you bring in Coach Rudolph and have an idea of what Billy Schrauth's all about. What were the conversations like with Coach Rudolph as he was coming in, and then as you've coached him? Like, what do you guys see in Billy Schrauth in that coaching room?
What was the conversations that I had with Coach Rudolph
Yeah,
about Billy?
Billy.
I knew Coach Rudolph would love Billy Schrauth. I mean, Billy, I know he's talking a lot here, but he's not a man of many words. He is a man of actions, and I knew that when Billy was a freshman here. And this dude is a hard worker, tough, driven, wants to be great, wants to be pushed, don't sugarcoat me. That's what O-line coaches want to coach, guys like Billy. And I remember Billy was the first commitment when I became a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I knew who Billy was because we used to talk about him in our recruiting meetings, but I didn't have a relationship because I was a defensive coordinator. Right. And the first person we go see after my press conference was him, and he committed on the spot. Didn't say many things. He said, "Coach, I'm coming to Notre Dame." And I just hugged the big guy, and I said, "Let's go." And but that's who he is.
Billy, so take me back to that moment and that time, because, of course, there was a lot going on here. Coach takes the job in that meeting. What goes through your head? What were you thinking?
Trust beyond knowing. Something Coach talks about all the time. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what I did. I trusted Coach. I trusted what I was, going to be a part of. And, I wouldn't have wanted it to go any other way.
He mentioned something that I have in my notes. I've got great sources on campus. The no sugarcoating thing. That came up in my notes about the way you kind of lead. What does that mean to you when you're not sugarcoating, you're direct? How does that kind of manifest itself when you're being someone that people come to and maybe you're going to give it to them straight?
Yeah, I think being authentic is the biggest thing for me, whether it's my relationships, being a player, just being somebody who doesn't switch up. You can count on me to be who I am, and I think that's important. That's the people I look forward to, meeting and develop relationships with. I don't know. I don't think there's any need for any blurriness or anything. I want it clear, shoot it straight,
okay.
And I think there's a lot of value in that, at least for me.
I see Coach nodding along. He likes that from you.
That's what you want your O-lineman to be like, man.
Yeah. I get the sense that's what O-linemen are generally like, but it seems like you're maybe the epitome of that.
Yeah, not all of them.
Okay.
But this guy is. He is.
I think we got a great culture here of offensive line. And I think that's a huge part of it too. I wasn't always this way. Those guys pushed me a ton. I try to push them, and that's a huge part of what we do. Everything's got to be cohesive and done together.
Okay. So help me then, as somebody that hasn't played organized sports for a while, and I'll start with you, Coach. You want everyone to be authentic, be themselves, but at the same time, you have a lot of different personalities, and you do have to come together and work as a team. How do you maintain authenticity while still knowing that in some ways you have to accommodate everyone? You have to be mindful of everyone. How do you be your authentic self while also being aware that you can't always just say and do everything you want to do because you have to be selfless?
Yeah, I think leadership is understanding the delivery and the reception of the people that you're leading. Like how Billy, I'm black and white.
Okay.
I'm shoot it straight. He wants it straight. He's going to tell it to you straight. Well, some other guys, you got to be authentic. You got to tell them exactly what you need to say, but you might say it in a different way, depending, because you at the end of the day, how he receives it is most important.
Okay.
Right? And everybody doesn't receive the message exactly the same.
Okay.
But more than anything, Billy said you have to be authentic, right? Yeah. Authenticity is important. And then you add that with selfless.
Okay.
Right? To me, that's what makes a culture. That's what makes something special is you're authentic. You are who you are. Be honest, shoot it straight, but you got to be selfless.
And it sounds like, too, people can tell if you're actually being selfless or if you're trying to make it seem like you're doing them maybe a favor and there's an agenda, whereas opposed to just being truly selfless is probably things people can see through. Now that you're a captain, Billy, and you hear that, I hear the no sugarcoating, but you're probably being relied on to maybe communicate more or just encounter more leadership moments. Have you found, like, having to understand this fine line between directness and selflessness and all that stuff and authenticity?
Of course. You know, nobody wants to be talked down to. Nobody wants to be, talked up. You know, and I think finding something in the middle is important. Finding a lane where people feel like they can express themselves, especially on the field, is important. We got guys who, they're really, really passionate, sure. And that's good. You know, directing that in the right direction is what's important. And it's a battle, but it's a battle that we're willing to take on, and it's good.
Can we talk about your high school football experience? Specifically, I want to talk about your coach, Bob Hyland. He coached for how many years? I think like 54?
54 years, yeah.
What are the memories you have of playing under him?
Coach is a legend. All my brothers played for him too, and I grew up. St. Mary Springs football was what I looked forward to. I always watched, my brothers competing their tails off and, winning. And I think that was really what I saw. You know, they were always bringing home championships, mm-hmm. And, I clinged on to that. I wanted it. Mm-hmm. So I knew what it meant before I got to high school, and I knew what it meant to have that S on my jersey and, wear the brand of St. Mary Springs football. And I took it with a lot of, I took it with a lot of passion. Yeah. And we had a lot of guys like that. And Coach put a lot of emphasis on that. He was a tough guy. He was the type of guy when he was the play caller, he would run option left the same awful D-tackle over and over and over.
Just pound away.
And he wanted us to win, though, and he did want to win, don't get me wrong, but he wanted us to feel what it feels like to win, put a lot of work towards something and achieve a goal. And, I learned that a ton. And every day when we walk out for practice, he would always hit us with let's go to work. And we'd run out, and it was like a half-mile run to the practice field. And it was just tough practices, gritty, and guys just went after it. I had a lot of great teammates who were just ball players, hard-nosed guys, didn't look for the stardom, really honed in their role, and it took everybody.
Yeah.
And that was huge.
It's cool to hear you talk about it, honestly. I can see, like,
it all makes sense.
It is making a lot of sense to me. I wanted to ask you, Coach, because I think about a guy that, Coach Tim, he was a 54-year head coach in high school, and I know you've talked a lot about, you've had meetings, whether it's Coach Holtz or even Coach Trussell from your past, these really experienced older coaches who have seen a lot. I don't know, when I was younger, I thought about the old coaches who have seen a lot, and I think to myself, oh, the game's kind of passed them by. But I get the sense like you think there's tremendous wisdom in these guys that have been around for a long time. When you encounter a coach, whether they've been retired for a while or they're going for 54 years and they've seen it for so long, how valuable is it to be around guys like that? Because I get the sense it had to be valuable for Billy here.
Yeah, there's tremendous wisdom, right? And there's no substitution for experience. And you talk about a guy that's been coached for 54 years. There's so much wisdom through his experiences of dealing with people, because that's what coaching is. You're leading people. You're teaching people. And so gaining some of that wisdom is something that I'm always hungry and starving for. especially from guys that have done it. And so I think about, it's funny listening to Billy talk about his coach. Some of the greatest coaches that I've had personally in my life were ones that were experienced and ones that were tough. Like, and in the moment, I think back to high school, I had a linebackers coach, a defense coordinator that was absolutely crazy. And I mean, he would headbutt you, bleed. He was a science biology teacher. So he'd like always, like, I remember him eating like insects and stuff at practice. Like, I mean, he was crazy. Okay. And he came up to see a practice a couple weeks ago, and
with you guys.
Yeah. And it's just like that was probably one of my most favorite coaches. And probably in the moment I thought he was nuts and he was hard, but now I look back, I learned so much from him, and you appreciate guys that love what they do.
It's amazing how the further away you get from some of that stuff, you start to look at it fondly and appreciate all the good stuff you got out of it, when in the moment maybe it didn't seem that way. I want to shift a little bit. Just when you were coming in, my understanding is you could have played either side, right? And then it was pretty quickly determined you're going to play on the offensive side of the ball. What is that discussion like? And then how do you, I mean, I don't know if you preferred either side, but how do you commit and then completely go all in on offensive line?
Yeah, I was always open to playing either way. I felt like I had attributes on both sides that I felt really confident in. Got here, well, obviously I had conversations in recruiting, but I always kept an open mind with it. I thought, I just got to get there. Mm-hmm. And when I got here, I met Coach Eastham, and we had a conversation that I'll never forget. And he kind of explained to me, what the standard was and how we go about business, being here. And I loved it. I was like, this makes sense to me. This is something that I want to put my energy towards. And I went, never looked back. Obviously, still, I still think I have some defensive.
Go both ways.
He might.
Yeah, I would love to, and Coach knows that. I've
always available. Yeah. Okay, good to know.
That's right.
And yeah, I'm a football player.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't care if it's fullback or D tackle, offensive guard, quarterback. Like I want to be out there, and I'm gonna have confidence in what I'm doing out there.
I don't like to play favorites around here, but some of the stuff you're saying, you're slowly becoming one of my favorite football players. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That answer is unbelievable. Yeah. From your standpoint, Coach, as a staff and in your position, you guys have to make a decision. How do you guys come to that? How do you make sure it's in the best interest of the team and of the player when you have to make a call on maybe which side of the ball, or even just what position, even if it's the same side of the ball, that someone might end up on?
Yeah, I think you always got to be cognizant of numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Like how many guys at each position. But you always got to be open-minded, right? I think you see it in Travis Hunter last year and what he did. Like these young guys, these guys, man, can do more than maybe what you previously thought. Hey, he has to be a one-position guy, and they're athletes, man. They're so athletic. You talk about a guy that's big, physical, loves to hit, loves the game. Mm-hmm. There's multiple different positions they can play, and so you make decisions you feel is best for the team, but you got to be aware that, hey, this guy can help us maybe in other positions that maybe other people didn't understand and see. So you always got to stay open-minded about it.
I want to ask you about last year with the injury. Just what was that process like? Because I can see you love football, and it was gone for a little bit there. When you go down and then have to work your way back, what were the toughest things about that process, and how did you have to remain both mentally and physically resilient in that time?
Yep. I think, like you said earlier, when you lose something or you get further away from it, you really realize how much you appreciate it and how grateful you are for it. It was tough, just like anything. It was physically tough, It was strenuous. It was hard to get back, but I had I had the support of my teammates. They were always there. I had a bunch of roommates who they helped me out a ton. Whether I needed food the day after surgery or a couple weeks down the road, whether it was helped me out getting back stronger in the weight room. I lean on those guys a ton, and I hope that they can lean on me too. I think that was just another one of those situations that was it was tough, but I learned a lot from it, and I'm super grateful for it.
Okay. I have a really hard pivot for both you guys before we get Coach out of here. Kind of a weird question, off the beaten path, but I think it'll be a good discussion. We'll find out. Time will tell. I'm hearing that steak is your favorite food.
Yeah,
this is true. Okay, you're passionate about steak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm passionate about food, so yeah.
Okay. So I have written down here, I think like 6 or 7 different steak questions. Let's just start. What's the best cut of steak in your opinion?
I like the ribeye.
Ribeye. Coach, where are you going with that one?
I second that.
You're ribeye.
I'm a ribeye, probably first, and strip second.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not a filet guy. I like more portion.
Yeah, I think football guys probably steer away from the filet and go for the higher ounce rate. I will say the older I get, I'm actually starting to appreciate the filet, so maybe I'm on the outside here, but I would have gone strip back in the day, so I co-sign that. Okay, what temperature should the steak be cooked at for you?
Whatever comes medium rare out. That's what I need.
Medium rare?
Yeah.
You're medium rare. So
medium rare.
Okay, Coach?
I'm medium rare there. Yeah.
I'm a medium guy. There's a lot of people out there that they start looking at you weird if you go above medium rare, but I think medium's fine. If someone asks for well done, are you going to let them stay at the table, or how's that work?
Eat what you will,
That's
but yeah,
right.
you're not coming. I'm not inviting you to the next dinner.
See, my dad was Air Force and old grumpy. Now he is well done, like it's tar.
Really?
And I remember growing up like that. Thought just dry steak is how you're supposed to eat it. Then I got an actual real steak that wasn't dry, and I'm like, holy cow! You don't need all this A1 steak sauce on it, put on your steak, and it changed my life. And so, but yeah, I mean, different folks, different strokes.
Okay, I got you. Do you cook? I mean, I heard before we started here that you have a good setup out there, and there's a lot of cooking that takes place at your house. Do you cook your own steaks?
Been getting really active on the grill.
Really?
Over the last year, yeah.
So how are you preparing your steak? Help me know. How do you do it?
I just do a little olive oil on, just to get the seasoning, bind it on there. A little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder. And then I have a seasoning that my mom gave me.
Secret seasoning.
Yeah, we'll label that as a secret seasoning.
The Schrauth secret seasoning.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But I throw that on it. Kind of a all-purpose blend type situation. I get that grill fired up as hot as it can go, both sides, and I throw it on. And
that's it.
It comes out. Yeah, it usually comes out pretty good. A lot of times I'll have teammates over because I'm the only one with a grill.
Okay.
Yeah. So we compete a little bit. Who can cook the best steak? Anthony Knapp put together a pretty good showing.
One of these days, we maybe need to have an offensive line steak competition. Maybe maybe the coaching staff could just judge it.
No doubt.
Probably a winner there.
A lot of beef.
All right. Last one before I let Coach get out of here. Let's just talk real quick football going forward here. Obviously not the result you guys wanted this past week. You guys are both leaders in different ways on this team. I'll start with you, Coach. Just where's the mindset? How do you guys move forward the way that you want to?
There's only one option. It's going to be that way.
Okay.
And we get a chance today to watch it together, and we'll learn from it. But we're going forward, and we're going as fast as we can. And nobody's going to sit here and feel bad for us, and we're not going to feel bad for ourselves. We got to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing you want to do. I want to be around the guys. I want to be around the people that care about it as much as we do. And you want to go to work, and you want to do it with these guys. And that's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do it fast. And so I'm excited to get back to work.
Billy, what about you?
Just like Coach said, I can't wait to get back in the locker room with the guys. Those are the guys I want to be around. Nobody else. I love those guys. Really excited to get things moving forward here again. We got a good week of prep here. It's going to be important how we respond, and I know we're going to respond the right way.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm looking forward to next week. Coach, we'll see you next week. Billy, you'll stick around as we let Coach go.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Billy, thanks for sticking around. We're going to keep you for a while. Isaiah's going to be here in a second. This is actually our subject matter expert segment presented by the tire experts at TireRack.com. And I'm excited today because we're going to get a chance to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that's golf. And I have a source that told me you're a pretty good golfer, so let's start here. What's your handicap?
Yeah, I'm about a 10 handicap. So, yeah, I would say pretty good is a good way to describe me.
Solid.
Solid.
You're generally shooting in the 80s.
Yeah, I would say 85 is on a decent course. That's a decent little score for me. So
just below bogey golf on average.
I could get down to the low 80s pretty easily.
Okay, how about best score you've had in your life? You've broken 80?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No, I've been very close a few times. I shot an 80 at my home course.
Do you think about that one putt or that
Of course.
that one opportunity? You were so close.
No, I think about it all the time. Yeah, I've had a couple really bad ones. I had one at Eberhard where it was I was on the 9th hole. I was trying to play 18, and I was one over through 9.
Oh my gosh!
I was playing good golf. I put a decent 3-wood out there on 9, which is a short par 4, and it lands in the fairway and trickles off into the rough. And I get up there, I can't find my ball.
No.
I'm sick. And my buddy's like, just drop another. I'm like, I'm going home. I'm not.
You played the game the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have walked back to the tee.
Yeah.
Teed 3.
And I know I would have shot a 39 there, and I would have went to the back, and I would have shot a 42 or something. And I've done that a million times.
Let me understand. Now, hold on. I didn't know we were going to go down this road, but here we are. You're telling me that you were going to play 18 holes.
Yeah.
And you teed off on 9, and because you couldn't find your ball, you just walked off the course and went home?
I was done. I'd spent a lot of time searching for my ball that round already. I had the same ball the whole round, and that ball, somebody either picked it up.
Someone picked it up.
Someone had to pick it up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hurts the most. There was no self-infliction. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just left. That's incredible.
I went home. Yeah, I was done.
Wow. This is a good time for a PSA. I golf with a lot of people, and there's a culture of like, oh, I found a golf ball. I can add it to my stash, and now I've saved some money on golf balls. I have a pretty standard rule. Just like I never pick up a golf ball that's not mine on the golf course because of that exact reason. Most likely, we don't know for sure, but most likely someone ruined what could have been the greatest day of your life because they picked up a golf ball.
You're right. Yeah, I respect that a ton. Honestly, over the last year to 2 years, my game has been declining.
Really?
I think it's mainly just muscle kind of. For me, I feel like my back's all
Occupational hazard.
it is. And I don't know, I also just feel like I have more muscle than I ever had. I lose rotation.
Yep.
But anyways, I feel like over the last couple of years, I've kind of been that competition aspect on the course. I've lost a little bit, and I battle with it. But
okay.
my cousin, my brother always get on me because if I find a ball and if the trains already fall off the track, I'll hit the ball. I don't care.
Boy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's theirs.
I think you should just play the long game with your golf game because at
You're
some
right.
point down the road you'll be ready to get into the right golf conditioning and you'll be good to go. So
You're
I want
right.
to let you know that the light is at the end of the tunnel. Just while you're in football mode, it might not be what you want it to be right now.
You're right.
Okay, Wisconsin guy. There's great golf in Wisconsin. I heard you played Whistling Straits recently or in the past couple of years?
In the last couple of years. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. But I played a few times out there. Sunset rounds.
Oh,
Beautiful.
for those that might not be familiar, Whistling Straits, I think top-ranked course in the state, hosted the Ryder Cup back in 2021. What were your impressions of it? I mean, just what's your favorite part of being out there? Because I've played it a few times. It's spectacular.
Yeah. Like I said, I had beautiful days too, and I think that added to the lure a little bit. But I love the challenge. I think every hour it could change out there too with the breeze off of Lake Michigan. it's beautiful. It's a real challenge too. But there's the perfect mix of water hazard and sand hazard and natural hazard, with still honoring that natural beauty of the area and the landscape. I think it also I think the history out there is awesome. I love walking into the clubhouse and looking around. The bagpipes when you're coming in. I think it all adds to the lure out there.
Yeah, multiple PGA championships, Ryder Cup, like the best players in the world have played there, so it's so cool. Going to go one more deep cut on Wisconsin golf. So Erin Hills is not that far. It's a little more inland, so you're not getting the same Lake Michigan views. I have played Erin Hills a couple times now. I think I might like it more than Whistling Straits. Where do you come down on that?
I love Whistling.
So you're going to pick Whistling?
Yeah, I think maybe I'll play Pebble and maybe a couple other Whistling will always have a spot in my heart.
It's your first love.
It is. It is. It really is.
Yeah.
But Erin's awesome. My brother worked out there for a summer, and he would get us out there
as a caddy, right?
As he was kind of operations stuff. But loved it out there, and he would get me and my brothers and his friends out there, and it's just a grind out there.
It's a tough walk.
It's long. I don't know.
That's a place you can lose your golf ball without it going in the water. It's just you just might lose your golf ball.
Yeah, I've heard people compare it to Shinnecock, and my brother, and it's a joke. He always says it's like Shinnecock on steroids, and I believe that. Like I've seen the layouts. Like it's just Erin Hills can be really hard.
Yeah,
and I've been out there one day when it was a little cold, and I don't know. I wasn't playing that good anyway.
Yeah. You can get punished out there though.
And we just got beat up, and it was a 4.5, 5 hour round, and legs are sore, and it's beautiful though.
Yeah.
And it honors the links type aspect, and which makes it more fun. You can kind of you can spray it around a little bit more, but also I don't know, it's a grind out there. The putting surfaces are so
not
much
easy.
undulation.
Who do you play with on the team? Who are the other golfers that you're getting out there on the football team?
I play with Ashton a ton.
Ashton Craig.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But we used to play with Riley Leonard a lot too. He was really into golf. We play at Elbow Park all the time. It's beautiful out there. That's our favorite spot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, last one I have is about the upcoming Ryder Cup. It's at Bethpage Black, which of course I think I actually talked to Pete Bavacqua, AD, about it because he was involved with the USGA, and this is going to be a PGA of America too, which of course hosts the Ryder Cup. But Bethpage, New York, USA versus Europe. I mean, I think it's one of the most exciting sporting events of the year. Not unfortunately, but coincidentally, you guys will be playing in Arkansas, at least during Saturday of that, but we'll be back in time for Sunday to watch kind of the culmination, which will be great. Who do you like? What are you thinking? Are you nervous? Where do you come down on this one?
Yeah. There's a lot of anticipation this year. It's great. I'm really excited. That Sunday's I'm going to be glued to the screen. I'm a homer. I think I got to go with USA.
I had you pegged as a European fan. I know.
No, we got the best player in the world, Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's confidence there, but I don't know. I think Keegan's got the boys humming.
Ooh.
Something about this year.
Did you want him to pick himself?
Of course I did.
Okay,
yeah,
so you're a little disappointed.
A little disappointed, but also the selfless leadership shows up, and I don't know. I think maybe it will be the right move. Maybe it won't be. The only way we're gonna know is when
Saturday night
when
or Sunday night.
It's on the line.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
why it should be.
I lied. Last one here. Who do you model your golf game after?
Yeah.
Like when I watch you golf, who should I be coming to my mind?
I kind of have a lot of wrist hinge. Victor Hovland. Yeah.
A European.
Yep, and a lot of rotation.
Okay.
I don't know.
Really, it's a nice comparison.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of who I've heard.
Okay. So the next time I see you pulling a rumbling pulling guard. I'm going to say the young Victor Hovland
Yeah.
is out there in space.
Correct.
Might be a little less intimidating. All right. We'll take a break, and we'll get Isaiah in for his story time.
Perfect. Appreciate you.
All right. Isaiah Dunn, great to see you.
Great to see you.
This is our Tell Me a Story segment presented by Yeti. Real quick, as always, anything to drink?
I'm okay today.
Billy?
I got the water on ice
You
here.
got the water? Okay. I'm then just going to sit back and listen while you tell me a story.
Well, this is a story I'm very excited about. It's very near and dear to my heart and Billy's. As you guys know, he's a phenomenal football player, but we're going to be talking about the classroom today. And we actually happened to take a class together with a few other football guys called Stage Combat.
Staged combat.
Stage Combat. And basically it was an acting class where you learn how to fight. And we went full go. So our final was the Batman Dark Knight, but we also did a few other fights. But I'm going to have Billy talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, so you want to see passion ooze through the screen. Let's talk about this Dark Knight showing. Honestly, Isaiah really was setting the tone with this one.
Okay.
We did we did the Batman skit, and all of a sudden we show up to film this thing, and I see a level of commitment that I honestly wasn't quite prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of, I settle in, and I settle into my role.
What's your role?
Kind of bystander, back guy.
Critical.
But
Critical.
Important.
Super.
Important.
Every role is important.
Mm-hmm.
And Zay proceeds to give a very passionate sort of warm-up to, I think it was, who was it?
JG.
I think it was JG.
Jaden Greathouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And who are you acting like?
Heath Ledger Joker.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Iconic performance, like
Yeah,
of
he
the last
did.
century. For
It's
sure.
one of my favorite
Yeah.
favorite performances of all time. So it's very near. Like I was ready for this.
You weren't going to do it a disservice. You were going to show up with a hunt.
I already knew the lines before we had to study them.
Great.
Yeah.
And he murdered it.
No.
Wow.
Killed it. Turned out great. Like I said, I saw a level of passion there that I wasn't prepared for, but he picked me up. I saw he set the bar, and I was like,
See,
okay, I got to match this somehow. I
Yeah,
gotta figure
he
out a way
definitely
to-
matched it too.
So okay, go ahead.
So he's my main henchman. He's big guy, right? So he's like
muscle.
He's muscle. He's
That's
my muscle.
exactly.
He's coming in.
So he's not just bystander.
no. He's the threat.
If
like
it's in the credits, it says muscle
Right.
one.
Yeah.
I might be saying the lines, but they're looking at him like, oh, we don't want to mess with this guy because
Okay.
my muscle.
Mhm.
And so I'm going in there, and when we prepared, this is like our 5th fight together. We've all done a bunch of fights at this point. This is our
In the
5th fight.
class.
In the class.
Okay.
We're pretty in. We've got it down. And what we've consistently done was Billy was like, I have to die first. So Billy wanted to. Billy had to go down first because he was just like, I want to do a few moves, and boom. So then Billy goes. Was it who punched you? It was Batman. Batman punches him, and I say flawless
Yeah.
drop.
I mean,
And this is what you're learning
Like
in
a
the
sack
class:
of
how to
potatoes.
take
punch.
a staged punch, how
Right.
to drop.
We
how
had
to make it look
swords.
real.
There
We
were
have. We're
swords.
gonna lay the video in so everyone can see this.
Okay, this is
because I have
awesome.
seen it.
Well,
from
when you watch Billy, when they watch the video now, you're gonna watch Billy get punched, and it was just flawlessly. He just falls to the ground, and I want you to watch the rest of the scene, but only watch Billy. He doesn't move.
fell
just-
down the wall.
fell down the wall. So explain, how do you fall down a wall?
I draped down it. I
Just
tried
like
to like a bag of milk just fell down the wall. And I think it did. There was a lot of reps that we did,
Mhm.
just like anything.
Yeah.
Practice. We did probably, I don't know, 9-10 takes, and every time I fell, later on in the take, somebody else would fall back on me. So
Right.
the fall I got pretty good at, but people falling on me,
Mhm.
I didn't like as much. That was new. That was new. to
Typically
me.
Christian.
Yeah.
Gray.
Christian Gray.
Yeah.
Next time Billy pancakes someone,
Mhm.
I'm going to say he knocked that guy over and he fell like a
a
bag
bag
of
of
milk. It is 100% going to be what I say. That is a visual I never anticipated.
Yep.
And he was telling me he used to milk cattle in the morning, correct?
Yep, at my neighbor's spot. And I knew after working a year and a half there, 2 years, I knew I didn't ever want to milk milk cows ever.
Yeah.
But
But
they,
you know what a bag of milk hitting the
Yeah.
wall looks
I
like.
do.
Real bag of
Canadians
milk.
know the real bags of milk. But,
So this is the video I saw. It was like exclusively football guys in this
Right.
video, right?
Basically, we had maybe one or two.
yeah, I think we had.
We had one student.
Yep.
With a bunch of football guys. Yeah.
And this was this graded?
Mm-hmm. A plus actually. He said it was one of
You
the
got
best they've
an
ever
A
seen.
plus.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
He wants us to come back. Actually, he was very excited.
Come back to the class and kind of show them how to execute. Wow. Well, good for you guys.
It's pretty
It was
awesome.
fun.
I'm
It was
proud
a
of
lot
both
fun.
you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Zay was really passionate about it, like he is everything, and honestly, it brought the best out of our group, and
I
it
appreciate
showed
that,
up.
Billy.
It
I
really
think he
did.
elevated my performance with
I
the
appreciate
drop.
that.
I'm excited for the masses to see the video because it is really well done, really well shot. Really, you can hear the sound effects, the whole thing.
Right.
But I'm gonna go back now and watch and just I need to superimpose a bag of milk
Right.
The
on top of Billy
intricacies.
when he hits the wall because that's phenomenal. I just you can see it so clearly now,
Right.
and it all makes sense. Okay, before I let you guys go, Isaiah, I see right there. That's a good looking QZ you got on. Looks like it says "Cheer Her Name" on the right sleeve.
Absolutely.
That's, of course, because we're celebrating 50 years of varsity female athletes at Notre Dame. They're going to be honored during the Purdue game. So shout out to them. Shout out to the quarter zip, and shout out to you for rocking it.
Always got to rep the right bands.
Yeah. All right. Great seeing both you guys. Billy, great getting to know you a little bit better. Thanks for coming by. Isaiah, always great to see you. We'll catch you next week.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Okay, thanks to Billy Schrauth and Isaiah Dunn for stopping by. It was great to get to talk to them. We have now our Ask the Host segment to wrap up this week's show. Really love this segment. Thought last week's question was great. This one, a really good one as well. I'm excited to dive into this one from my vantage point. Here's the question we got this week. It looked great on TV, but how did Saturday's atmosphere compare to other Notre Dame stadium games you've been at in your time here? This question came from Jerry R. from Teaneck, New Jersey. So shout out, Jerry. Thanks for the question. It's a great question. I've got a unique vantage point because this is just my second year doing the football games on the radio. Now, that said, I've been at the stadium for pretty much every game since 2016, so almost a decade now. I worked with the video board team back in 2017. I bring that up because I was there for the game. Unfortunately, it was a loss to Georgia, but I thought that first home game, actually the second home game with the video board, there was a great energy in that game, but it doesn't hit the top. But it was a cool one to be at. Obviously, a memorable game, even though Notre Dame came up on the wrong side of it. Was the first night game with the video boards. There was some heightened anticipation. I liked that, but it's not the best. Okay, now fast forward a couple years ago, I got to do the pre- and post-game show on the radio, which our studio is located in the Duncan Student Center, which is attached to Notre Dame Stadium now. So I was in the stadium, but not near the field when the game is happening for all these games from 2021 to 23, except I'm going to tell everyone here something that I've never told anyone before. Unfortunately, it's another loss. But against Ohio State in that game a couple years ago, for the final drive, I made my way down and snuck into the concourse level and watched the final drive from inside the stadium. Incredible atmosphere. I had friends in the stands for that one. I've heard from many that's the loudest it's been in recent memory. Until, of course, last year's playoff game, and that's what I'm going to go with. I think last year's playoff game against Indiana, if you were there, you remember it. I think just the history around it being the first ever playoff game on a home site. It was a night game, and quite frankly, unlike those two I just mentioned that were in September, which are great, really pleasant and nice to have maybe 60 or 70 degrees, good weather, there's something about it being cold. Everyone was locked in. And then, again, I talk about the video board when we were working on it in 2017 in my first year to see where it's come. Not that it wasn't any good in 2017. I think we did a great job personally, but it's really matured. The staff that runs it does a fantastic job. I thought that really from start to finish in that Indiana game, and then this, of course, is the first home game since against Texas A&M, the way the video board's been integrated with the fan support has just been phenomenal. So I think Texas A&M, this game the other night, was outstanding. The crowd was super loud, especially on those critical downs. And so we obviously want to keep seeing that throughout this season. But considering the circumstances of that Indiana game, what was on the line, the history around it, the way it started, I think when Jeremiah Love hit the 98-yard touchdown run, I guess we'll never know what the loudest roar in Notre Dame Stadium history was, but I think that has to be close. And, of course, that's a big win. So I'm going with that. I'll choose that. Would love to see people debate in the comments if they have one they've been at. And certainly there are people that watch this show and that are Notre Dame fans that have a history that goes back much further than 2016. So if you have a moment in time that you think it was the loudest or best environment that predates me, by all means, argue about it in our YouTube comments. Would love to see maybe what comes out on top. So great question again from Jerry R. from Teaneck, New Jersey. Appreciate that. Keep those questions coming. Okay, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Wake Up the Echoes presented by TireRack.com. Thank you so much to our guest this week, Billy Schrauth. It was great to get to know him a little bit better. Isaiah Dunn always comes through with great questions and story time topics. And then Marcus Freeman, great to talk to him. Really looking forward to seeing how this team moves forward against Purdue this weekend. Subscribe, download, smash the like button. And until next time, Tony Simeone saying so long.